In this lesson, we're going to animate the carbon dioxide and ozone depletion cause comps. Okay, so we're right here where we left off. We've got ocean acidification done, we've got coral bleaching done, and I just went ahead and prepared the high carbon dioxide and ozone depletion layers, did all the duplication and replace that we needed to. I also went into their masks and I did a negative expansion on all of the masks of 3 pixels, just because I was having a little bit of trouble with the overlap on the ocean acidification. So now they're all in the same place, same size. So even if the other ones didn't need it, I went ahead and did it just so they're all exactly the same. So now let's go into the ozone depletion comp and start working. So I'm just going to double click to go in this comp. And what I want to do here is have that CO2 just kind of pop on like it has been. So let's bring up the scale. This is at 513.7. So we'll go ahead and just make one of our little recoils. And we can't use our animation preset since it's higher than 100. So we'll just do it manually. Go from 0. And then let's go back a little bit and we'll say this is at 510. Let's just see what that looks like. Give it all an easy ease. Pretty good. I'm having a little bit of trouble telling if there's any kind of a difference there. So let's open this up, make it last just a little bit longer. Maybe make this a smaller value. Let's maybe actually make this a little bit bigger. Nice. Okay, so now we have that recoil in place. And now I want to animate the little cloud behind it. And I just want this to be spinning. So I'm going to hit the R key to bring up its rotation. And we'll just set a keyframe at the beginning at 0, and then we'll do a 1-time spin. So it's going to spin all the way around once. And let's have it maybe get a little bit bigger as it spins too. So I'll hold Shift and hit the S key to bring up its scale. We'll just add a keyframe there. I'm going to pull it forward so it happens over a pretty long amount of time. And then we can just maybe make it a little bit smaller at the beginning and a little bit bigger towards the end. So it's just going to keep growing as it goes. Now I want that rotation to continue rotating even after that keyframe has passed. So let's Alt click that and add our loop expression. So we'll just grab that, fly out, come down to property and choose loop out type equals cycle. Perfect. So now that's going to just keep spinning the whole time. And let's go ahead and turn on motion blur for these layers. And it looks like it's spinning maybe a little bit quickly, so let's pull this out so there's not so much motion blur on it. Much better. Okay, one other thing that I want to do, just to add a little more interest to this, is to duplicate that cloud, and then we'll change its blending mode so it just kind of blends a little bit differently with the cloud behind it. So we'll hit Control D to duplicate that. And let's open up the properties of the one that's on top. And we have our scale property here. I'm going to actually make this just a little bit different. So let's make this one a little bit bigger towards the end and a little bit bigger at the beginning as well. And let's have it animate a little more slowly for its rotation. So I'll just grab that keyframe and pull it forward. Okay, so you can't really tell a difference right now because they're both the same color, but let's add a change to our blend mode. So come in here, click your toggle switches, And right here where you have normal, we can start to go through those. And a quick way just to cycle through is to select your layer, hold shift and hit the plus key. And you can see how that's just allowing me to go through those really quickly. I really liked the way that that one looked with the multiply. So we kind of get this green color now, and then we're sort of back to our navy right there in the middle. So I think that looks really nice and just kind of makes it feel a little more dynamic. Maybe even pull this rotation out a little bit more just to make it even more slow. And we could also offset that beginning rotation just by pulling this out a little bit. And just so it doesn't pop, that was at 21 degrees. So let's just come over here and we'll put that at 121. We won't need that much time probably. It's not going to need to go all the way over there when we're on the outside. He'll have mentioned the next one, but just to make sure everything is as it should be. Okay, perfect. Now let's go out back to our main coral infographic. And let's animate the ozone depletion. Now this one's going to be really easy, so just double click inside of here. Okay, so we're just going to animate these lines by making them a little bit bigger. So I'm just grabbing the corner, holding shift, and we're just kind of stretching those out. And then I'm just going to animate them across, just kind of like we did for our ocean layer. So I'm going to pull one to one side, just like this, and one to the other. We'll animate them in opposite directions. Let's go ahead and select both of those, hit the P key to bring up their positions, and then we'll move forward pretty far, and we'll pull this one over to the right, and then we could pull this one over to the left. So those are just going to kind of move across when we get these crazy little kind of wave frequencies. Let's turn on our motion blur for everything. That still looks pretty good, not going too fast. Let's go back out to our main coral infographic, and if I just scrub, you can see what that looks like. So pretty interesting, really easy animation for that one. The ocean acidification one is probably the most complex. So we finished up animating what's going on internally in those comps, but now I want to actually create some transitions so they're not just popping on top of each other like this. So in our next lesson, we're going to learn how to create a 3D spin transition for these compositions. So stick around and we'll learn that in the next lesson.